Hello and welcome once again to What's Out There, the paranormal podcast from the Out There Paranormal Group. And chatting for you tonight on this here podcast is myself, Nigel, and...
myself, Juliette.
And you've roped me into another one of these, haven't you?
I know, we're going to do some more ad-libbing. A little bit of pub chat.
I've got no script at all this time. Last time
I know, right?
I had
It's good,
some
isn't
notes
it?
last time, but I have no notes at all. And
You're completely out of your depth, aren't you? It's fine.
This
We'll
could
go with
go
it.
horribly wrong. Anyway, we've had an interesting experience recently.
Well, we've had two interesting experiences.
Yeah, and the reason why we've called this one "I'm Going on a Ghost Hunt" is because
We went on a ghost hunt.
we have indeed. We've been on two. As you know, we're paranormal investigators and researchers, and I tend to call ghost hunts the sort of things that are arranged for the public to go on, where you sort of pay a fee and you can go around a sort of a big venue, you know, like some of you wouldn't normally be able to get into, where you got a group that sort of leads an experience for you.
But that's the trouble with these things, because often with venues, in order to get into a lot of the good, supposedly haunted venues, you have to pay a lot of money now.
You do.
So sometimes it's the only way to get in, isn't it?
It is, and you can't actually... Oh, this is a horrible thing to do. I used to call them pay for scares, but I've been a bit harsh on them in the past because it's not something that I thought I'd ever enjoy doing, because I can't investigate.
Yeah, that's the trouble with them.
I can't run an investigation like I'd normally run an investigation, because I've got to account for everybody else that's there. I could set up some bits of kit and I don't know what everybody else in the group is doing.
No.
They're off sort of doing their own thing, or if there's someone running a Ouija board session, or they're doing a calling out session and I'm desperately trying to do my own thing.
Yeah, but there's also the noise as well, because when you're doing, a so-called ghost hunt or something like that, you've got so many people involved, and then everybody's moving around in their own groups and doing their own thing. There's no way you could set up any form of a controlled experiment anyway, could you?
No. Not unless you actually said to someone, I'm going to be in... Well, you couldn't even do that, because I'm going to be in this room here, because you still hear the outside noise.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just doesn't work.
No.
You know, not that I've got anything against them, because I think for some people it's the perfect sort of doorway into paranormal investigation.
Well, it is. It's great. You know, if you want to go on an experience and see some kit and how it's used and what happens and what some, paranormal explorers do, it's a great way to start, I think.
Yeah, it's a good introduction.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, go on. Here it comes.
No, there's not a but, really. We did both sides of both sides of the coin.
We
Is
did.
the best way to describe it. We've actually paid and got an investigation, and we've actually run an investigation or ghost hunt. I shouldn't call them investigations. We've actually been on a ghost hunt and run a ghost hunt.
Yeah.
We've actually paid for venues in the past. I mean, I remember years back, before you joined us, we did Harwich Redoubt, but that was with some other groups, and we'd all sort of clubbed together and hired the venue, but it wasn't an organised event. We got to do our own thing. Although you could still then thinking the evidence that you got could be compromised by the other groups that were moving around the venue.
Yeah, we did a theatre in Norwich, which obviously we have to be careful about the name. But again, that was one when I was with you guys. We did club together, but again, there was a lot of people moving around and things like that.
We could hear other groups going. There was one when there was one guy who was very loud, wasn't he? He was shouting to his group, "Come on, let's get this thing going!" Whoa! And you're thinking, "Oh, for goodness sake!"
I know.
And we did Castle Rising as well. Same thing again. Where we hired it with another couple of groups.
Though.
Yeah.
Castle Rising Castle in King's Lynn. For those of you that don't know it, in Norfolk, look it up, because aside from the paranormal activity and things like that people say is haunted, it's such a beautiful location to visit, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I mean, it really is quite interesting. And, the history is interesting of it as well.
Oh, God, it is a fascinating place.
Yeah.
I'd love to go back there with just us.
Oh, yeah, wouldn't that be amazing?
To have the place to ourselves.
And go back down into the oubliette.
Where you had your spooky, scary experience.
Do you know, that is another podcast, but we'll have to talk about that on another podcast.
Yeah. When people sort of say, what's the thing that scares you the most? And it's the one that immediately comes to mind for you, isn't it?
That is the one.
It's the one thing that makes you think, oh my God,
it's
remember that.
Something that I just couldn't explain.
No.
I could not explain it, but we will save that for another day, because that is an
Indeed.
interesting
It is a
one.
very interesting one.
So back to
Ghost hunting.
the ghost hunting, and as Nigel said, we've done both. So we've done being a paid member of the public and gone on a ghost hunt to see what it's like, and we've also hosted. It was a charity event, so we hosted a paranormal event as well, which was interesting. It was interesting. Yeah. So let's start with the one that we did, the paid,
Okay.
as you know, paying customers of a paranormal event. And what did you think about it?
It was quite interesting. It's not what I was expecting at all, I have to say. It was
Yeah.
at the Wyndham Museum.
Yeah.
And it was December last year. I mean, we were going to talk about it at some stage anyway, but actually this is now the perfect opportunity because we've done both sides of it. We can sort of throw the two together. We turned up, and I honestly thought it was going to be one of these ones where things were sort of run for you.
Yeah.
So I would turn up and they'd be like, oh, we've got this, we've got that. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're going to do something here, we're going to do something there. But what it actually was, the group that were organising it, a group called Chasing the Spirits, another local group, actually what they do is they club together and get people into venues so they can actually investigate a venue. So it wasn't an organised ghost hunt, and I'd got completely the wrong end of the stick. So eventually you go in and you can do what you want to do. But I wasn't prepared to go and do
Well,
that.
sure as heck I wasn't either.
But
I tell you what I liked about it is they kind of said you can go wherever you want to go, have a look around. There was a lot of freedom to it.
yeah, there was.
So there wasn't any structure to it at all, which some people would like, but I actually liked the freedom of being able to go around and do our own thing, which was quite nice.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like was the fact that there was too many people, so you couldn't do any form of a proper investigation. It was impossible. I did tune in. I did, as a psychic, pick some things up. But again, it was very difficult to do that because I was being distracted all the time because of the noise and what other people were doing and people traipsing in and out and that kind of stuff. So it was near on impossible. But as an experience, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it's a way to get into venues that generally we just wouldn't be able to afford.
We wouldn't. I mean, probably wouldn't even considered it because I didn't know
no.
that the museum actually run things like that. So that was quite interesting to be able to actually do that. But yeah, I mean, I'd gone prepared. I got a head full of I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do. And
it
then
never happens though, does it?
Never did. No.
You get so annoyed with me on investigations because you're like, I will say, Nige, come on, I'm tuning in, get the camera up. And he's like, oh, God, no, I haven't got it out of the car yet. Will you just stop?
Give me a chance to
I'm
get
like,
some
I
kicks
can't
out.
stop. I can't stop. They're not performing sales. They just come and then they go.
It's like herding cats with you, though. It was
You
bad.
get so
It's
fed up with
bad.
me.
It's bad enough when you get everybody together and I'm trying to herd you all together.
I know.
But it's you a nightmare. I'm just like, where are you
know.
going, Jules? Come back here. We need to do a piece of camera. There's something going on. Oh, for God's sake, where's she gone now?
It's hilarious.
I'll chase after you like some bloody lost puppy dog with the camera going, what are you doing, Jules? I'm going to say something because I need to take this. People don't want to see this. Oh, honestly, it's so... It is... I mean, it's great when we go and do that because you do sort of go off and then eventually we get some sort of sense of order out of it. We manage to get some things going.
We do.
But it is often the case of when you get to something, somewhere and something just kicks off, you are gone. And I'm like, oh no, not again.
There's you with your microphone, making sure it's the right way round and fiddling with your wires. And oh my God, the camera isn't working. Where's the battery? Oh my God.
It's in the case and I've not took it out yet. I've got nothing put together, nothing organ. Oh, honestly.
I do put pressure on you, don't I?
You do put a lot of pressure on me,
I can't
yes.
help it though, because as soon as something happens, I have to say, oh gosh, I'm picking up on this, or this is happening now, and
the spontaneity works really well though. That's the thing with it, because it does catch us out. But in the end, we do get some amazing footage because
we do.
I do actually eventually have the camera in my hand and it is working. I can do something.
We've had some really interesting stuff.
Get some really good stuff.
Yeah.
And because we've got that control over it, we can do what we want. Although sometimes when you watch it, you think it's bleeding chaos.
Well, it is with us, isn't it?
It does, but then
But that is with a genuine paranormal investigation. You don't know what's going to happen.
No.
So you really just have to go with it, don't you?
I can't police it because I don't know what's going to be there on the night. We could
No.
turn up, there's absolutely nothing at all.
Well,
We could turn
so
up.
How many times has that happened to us where we've gone and done a location and there's naffle there? And
loads of
it's
times.
like, oh, should we go down the pub then?
Yeah,
Let's just go down the pub.
Nothing's going to happen.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, isn't it?
It's so quiet. It's not going to kick off.
And then we have other things where it just goes crazy and we can't explain it and things happen.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. And you're trying to work some kind of order into it, but you can't because then it's another event after another event after another. And you're just like, this is absolutely insane.
Absolutely.
You know, we weren't expecting this at all.
No. But I absolutely loved getting back to the Wyndham thing. I absolutely loved that because it gave us the opportunity to have a look inside the museum, and Wyndham Museum in Norfolk is a very interesting little place.
It is, yeah.
Really is. It's a little niche of history in Norfolk, and I found it quite fascinating. And it's got things like the jail and things in there, and various bits from World War II as well, which is obviously your forte.
And World War One. Well, this is the
World War
interesting thing.
One, yes, of course.
Let's touch on some of the things that actually, because we've not gone through the experiences we had there, which is
no.
quite interesting because
Yeah.
we've not sort of fed this one back, have
Yeah,
we?
no.
It's Wyndham Bridewell Museum. The Bridewell is actually they're little prisons, basically dotted all about Norfolk, where if you got a small misdemeanour, you would serve time in the Bridewell, normally doing hard labour of some kind, picking hemp or breaking
So what
rocks.
era was that?
You're talking about I think that Bridewell there was opened up in the late 1600s.
Right.
Or went through to the 19th century. I think it was turned into police station or magistrates court at the end of the 19th century.
Okay.
So, but it was mainly for, I think it was women. I think it was women's Bridewell, so they had sort of lots of women in there.
If you can hear a bell and purring, it's not me. It's my cat Izzy that likes to make an appearance every so often on our podcasts.
Izzy the ghost cat again.
So excuse the background noise, folks.
It's just Izzy. So using a prison for small misdemeanors. Mostly, I think it was mostly women, from what I can remember.
Yeah.
But we went down into the basement bit where there was actually recreation of the
fascinating.
cells, and that's where it really started, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really interesting. And there's a well outside, wasn't there, that I picked something up?
You knew someone had gone down that well.
Yes, I know. Well, I was picking it up, and we had an historian there, a nice lady that was very knowledgeable, and she actually confirmed that, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
Which was quite interesting. It's lovely when you get things historically confirmed to you, when you do this kind of thing and you tune in, because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to get that confirmation of somebody that knows the history that can come back to you and say, actually, yeah, you know, that you're bang on, or actually, no, you're talking crap.
Yeah.
I'm good at talking crap.
But it's the way you were saying about it as well, because you said it wasn't like, they jumped in the well. You said there was a fight.
Yeah.
And they'd had a fight and someone pushed someone. They pushed them and they went down the well. And then when we said to the historian lady, she said actually there was a circumstance where that happened. They'd had problems out and they're using it as an exercise yard bit out the back. They're doing some of the work and they'd had a fight and one of them got pushed and gone down the well. So, yeah.
Very interesting,
Didn't kill her, but...
No.
Still went down there, which is, I suppose, that experience, isn't it? Remembering going down there.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a mock-up of Brush Factory.
Oh, yeah,
didn't they? Because a local brush firm had gone out of business and they had all the works from this brush factory. They're sort of talking about local things that happened. And we were in there and we're walking past and what did you say to me?
I can't remember now. Was it a smell or something?
Yeah, burning.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you smell that burning smell?
Yeah.
And I said, no.
Yeah.
She said, it's a really weird burning smell. So
That's right.
Like wood. She said, no. You said, no, it's an odd sort of metallic-y burning smell.
That's right. I remember now.
Can't figure it out at all. So we stopped and you got the meter out and another couple of young ladies had stopped with us and it kicked off, didn't it? And you got hold of somebody called Victoria, asking the questions and... I mean, I know it's a K2 and people say K2, me, but we had checked the vicinity. There was nothing else there. None of us had our phones on.
When we got the K2 out as well, they're in that room. There was nobody in that room.
No, it was just us.
And it was only us two. So for that whatever it was, 5 or 10 minutes,
Yeah.
we had our phones off.
Yep.
So, there wasn't anything, and it was a large enough area, so even if there were other people in another room, it wouldn't have impacted it. Or
Well, that was
affected
we had it pointing away from us, well. So when we stood on
Yes.
that unit thing that was there,
Yeah.
the pitch burner thing, as we found out later,
Yes.
which is the thing that was giving off the burning smell, which we didn't know what the hell
right.
it was.
No,
And
never
we were,
seen one before.
Yeah, and we were talking about somebody called Victoria who'd come up, and again, the historian lady confirmed it and said, yeah, they regularly had accidents using this pitch thing where people would get burnt, quite badly burnt by it as well. And that's what you were
really
picking up on,
interesting.
wasn't it? The fact
Yeah.
that someone had got burnt
Did we
by this
find
thing.
out about the name? I can't remember.
No, we didn't. We went sort of looking to see if we could find it because there was pictures of workers at the place, but they
No,
didn't
I
have their
remember doing
names
that.
underneath, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have their names
Absolutely.
on there, so...
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out if Victoria was part of that, or whether there was an injury
Yeah.
with Victoria, because that would be very interesting indeed.
But it was the lovely thing about that was the fact that we stood there and things were going on. Then those two ladies joined us. One who'd been on a couple of investigations, and one who was her first investigation.
Yes.
And it was really nice to get them involved
It's lovely to
because they
bring people in.
really enjoyed it. And they said they're saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, you've got things going on," and we're saying, "Yeah, we're doing this, calling out." And they started asking questions as well and watching it get responses, and that was actually quite nice.
It was really lovely. Just give them that flavour of what an investigation is.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Away from these, dare I use the term pay for scares, but, just to give them that little bit of time. Shush, Izzy, we're talking. It's... I think they really enjoyed that, to be honest.
It's good. It was very, very good.
Yeah.
It was the thing that got me with going round was there was everybody doing their own thing,
Yes.
and there was some weird stuff going on.
Oh, I know.
You had out in the foyer bit at the main reception when you came on, they'd put a Ouija board on the desk as you went in, and they were all doing their Ouija board
Yeah,
thing,
I
weren't
didn't
they?
get involved in
Which
that.
we walked
No, we
right away
stayed
from.
away, didn't
we
we?
did, yeah. There was another bit as you walk round, they had the sort of display up, and they were talking about sort of Wyndham history, and they'd got a shop front there, and they'd got cat balls on the floor there that they were all sort of using, weren't they?
Yep.
And like it's every sort of thing that you see and various investigations was happening in this place.
Yeah.
They were downstairs, they were calling out and recording it. They were doing the Ouija board, they were doing the cat balls on the floor.
There
Everyone
was
was
table tipping, wasn't there?
I think they did
do that?
I think they did do some table tipping,
Yeah.
But it was just the classic things that you would expect to see on one of these
Yeah.
organised investigations where
Or on TV.
or on TV, where they're sort of setting these things up. And we were just wandering around, just doing our own thing, weren't we?
Yeah.
Just chatting, watching what was going on, just taking it all in, really.
And it was lovely to meet new people as well.
It was, yeah.
Because we met some really lovely people on that investigation. Like, some of the investigators as well were really nice.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to know some new people.
There wasn't anybody. That's the good thing about it. Was no horrible people on there,
No,
was there?
no.
Everyone was really, really nice. They were quite willing to talk to you about what was going on and what they
yeah.
were doing.
Yeah.
It was not what I expected at all.
And they were respectful of the fact that we did not want to get involved in Ouija or table tipping as well.
Yeah.
Because you do get certain people that can get a bit sort of off.
Why did you want to do that?
If you say I don't want to be involved, well, why? What is your problem? And they were quite respectful. I said, fine, this is what we're going to do. If you don't want to be part of it, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And they were quite happy for us to go off and do our own thing, which was fab.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, and I enjoyed it. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was nice.
Would I say it's suitable for a paranormal investigation? No, I would not.
No.
To be honest.
You couldn't.
What do you think?
No, because of what was going on there. I'd had ideas for controlled experiments that I wanted to run, and I couldn't run any of them.
No.
Because there's absolutely no way that I could actually validate anything that I was getting, because I couldn't say it was a group out in the front doing the Ouija. I couldn't say it was a group by the shop front playing with the cat balls.
That's the trouble.
If you hear that background noise, you hear someone say something, I couldn't then say, well, actually, that's paranormal, because it could quite easily be one of the other groups.
This is the trouble, and you have to be able... I can't believe I'm saying this, being a psychic, but, you have to have some form of control when you do a proper paranormal investigation.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you do a sweep of the location, find out what everything is.
Yeah.
make sure there's nobody else around as well, because any noises or anything can influence all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, look at the energies, the natural energies that are emanating, any electrical energies that are emanating from a location as well, hence why we always do a sweep. You know, anything like that. You have to have a controlled environment to do a true paranormal investigation, and there was no way on, you know, a pay for scares kind of thing that we could have done that, to be honest.
No.
So
yeah, you're right.
There we are. That's Nigel and Juliet's
I just want to say one thing else, though, because there was another bit that really...
What's that?
This is what I love when I work with you, is because
God.
you do stuff, and I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
We were down in the basement,
Yes.
and you said to me, there's something in that chair,
Yeah, I remember that.
the wheelchair.
Yeah, that was an old-fashioned wheelchair, wasn't it?
Yeah, you
what
said...
What era was that from?
Well, this is what I'm going to say. You said to me someone was strapped in that wheelchair.
That's right.
And they didn't like being in the wheelchair,
Yes, I
and they were
remember.
getting quite stressed about it.
I remember that.
We asked the historian where that kit had come from.
Yeah.
And because I said to you, why is he getting stressed? And you said, I don't know. He's just like, he's not happy, really not happy about being in that wheelchair. He's scared.
Yeah,
he's
that's
scared
right.
of something,
Yeah.
really scared. You
Yeah.
said he's quite frustrated.
That's right. I remember that.
We found out that those wheelchairs came from the Red Cross Hospital, which was across the road, who looked after patients in the World War One, some of whom were shell-shocked. And you were saying, I said to you afterwards, I wonder whether or not that person you were sensing in that chair, going through all that, was one of these poor shell-shocked guys.
Well, it was definitely male.
Yeah.
That I do remember from that investigation, but I mean, yeah, could have been. Unfortunately, I didn't get any names or anything like that, so it's near off impossible.
He wasn't in
say.
he wasn't in a fit state to actually give you a name, was he? That was the thing. I think because
but
he was
even if he was, unfortunately, I didn't pick up on a name. I mean, you know, I could see him. You know, he was in sort of the kind of baggy style pajamas, I'd put him in, and with sort of brownish hair and terrified.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrified, and not understanding why he was actually strapped in.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And yeah, it was quite sad. It was quite sad, you know, that something mentally had gone drastically wrong with this gentleman. Whatever it was, I don't know, but it was very interesting what the historian said.
Yeah, because
about
it's
that
just
chair.
Could
it have been?
That's the thing, isn't it?
Could it? Had I have got a name, then we could have traced. Perhaps
I could have dug back
Yeah.
and probably found patient records for that
Yeah.
Red Cross hospital.
Yeah, and we have done that before.
We've done
haven't
that
we, with
before,
things?
yeah. I mean, that is what we do.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
unfortunately,
He was not going to say.
I didn't get a name, unfortunately. So on that occasion, yeah, possibly, but we don't know, do we?
No,
we just don't know. But it was interesting all the same.
It was. So, what I'm going to say here is, if you want to go and do one of these events, go and do one of these events.
Do it. Yeah, definitely do it, because
definitely
it's fun.
do it, because it is.
It's a night out. It's fun. A lot of them, quite often you get food as well and things.
Yeah.
And you get a break and you get to meet people as well with similar interests and make new friends. We've made some new friends out of it.
We have, yes.
You know, and it's just a fun night out, and it's a way, it's a taster of the paranormal, and you get an idea of kind of how, you know, some people work on investigations. It gives you a little taster, a little bit of a flavour of it.
Yeah, I mean, look around and see which groups are offering what, because they all work
Yeah.
differently.
Oh, they do.
And that's the thing.
Yeah,
you know.
we work very differently to one group. One group will work very differently to us. You know, it's just how it is.
It's like we were discussing on our last podcast with Kieran O'Keefe.
Oh, yes.
When I said to him about, can we have some like overall investigation protocol that says what you're going to do on investigation? You sort of set it and say, do this, and he said then everybody works differently.
Yeah, he said there's no fast
there's
rule.
no rule that you can actually sort of say you're going to be able to do this, and this.
Absolutely. But didn't he say he's putting a guide together? Didn't he talk about that?
He did mention it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's doing something like that. He was
Giving you
talking
some
about-
pointers that you can
That's
actually
right.
take with you. So some idea of some things that you can actually do.
I know. I want to. I Kieran's book. I'm desperate to get a copy of that.
You've got to wait for it to come from the United States.
Oh gosh.
We're going to look at that.
Fantastic.
We're going to review it actually when we get a copy of it.
Really
We're going to
looking
actually
forward to that.
run a review.
Yeah.
So that's part one. Part two
Was the other way round. Flip it on its head, and God help us, it was Juliette and Nigel hosting part of a paranormal event for charity, wasn't it?
It was indeed, yeah. It was just the Saturday just gone,
Yes.
and it was at RAF Tibenham in Norfolk. Now, we love an airfield.
Oh, don't we?
We absolutely love an airfield. I mean, we started our series Ghost Airfields. We had to put it on hold because of the COVID, and we're rebooting it now. And after doing this weekend, it's really sort of fired us up again. But there's something about them.
There's something really magical there.
Yeah.
The forgotten history, because a lot of the airfields, as you guys well know, the farmers, following World War II, the farmers have reclaimed the land.
Yeah.
They've dug up a lot of the old airfields, all the buildings. You're lucky if you find originals now, because a lot of them have come down, which is quite sad.
Yeah.
There are the occasional control towers left. We've found some, haven't we, in previous
have, yeah.
investigations. But a lot of it has gone. But, even if they can rip up that ground and tear away bits, quite often there's still something left.
Yeah. There is that essence, that atmosphere, that person, that's still there.
Yeah.
Tibenham's got a reputation for sightings. They've had quite a few sightings of airmen that have been seen about the base. Another one that's actually in the paranormal database said they could hear a tannoy with sort of voices shouting over a tannoy system, which has also been heard at the base as well. Tibenham is one of these sad bases where the buildings have gone.
Yeah, such a shame.
There's nothing left of the original buildings. They have all gone.
Yeah.
But the runway is still there. The Norfolk Gliding Club, who actually have the airbase there.
They're really nice people as well.
They've taken really good care of it.
Really nice people.
They were lovely to let us onto them and do that. I mean,
Yeah.
we were raising funds for them to make sure they can keep and maintain the runway,
Yeah.
which is what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so they
And just
keeps
keeping that little bit of history
it
as
keeps
well.
that part of it alive, which is
Yeah.
really, really good. And they were a fantastic bunch of people. We were helping out our lovely mate Penny Griffiths-Morgan from Haunted Histories, who put this one on because her dad is a member of the Gliding Club.
Yeah, really
And,
nice man.
Yeah, and if we've got the chance, it's an airbase. Would you like to help us? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Does the Pope wear a funny hat? Yeah, we're in it like a shot. So we're like, yeah, we'll do it.
I have to say, Penny, I mean, she worked damned hard to
Oh
put that
my
together.
God.
A lot went into that. Even the planning, the way she organised it, and the fact she had planned everything and given us a map, and it was, she did a really good job at that.
It was so well organised.
It was.
And then you threw us into the mix.
Yeah. And then, oh well,
Whoops.
carnage.
What I'm going to say here, you're going to tell me off because you've told me off because I've said this a few times.
Okay. I'm always telling you off.
I know. You are my spooky wife after all. I do deserve it a lot of the time, it has to be said. I said we didn't have experience in these things.
Yeah, I told you off for that.
I know.
Because we have got loads of experience.
We have got loads of experience. We are experienced investigators.
Yes.
We've been...
Yes.
I've been investigating since 2005. You've been investigating since, 2008, 2009 with us?
Yeah.
So we've been about a while.
Yes.
We know what we're doing when it comes to an investigation.
Yeah.
We just don't know what we're doing when it comes to
To yes.
throwing it open to the public. To organising
an investigation.
Organising
You've got experience in events.
Yeah.
I'm an ex-marketeer, so I've got oodles of experience in marketing events for a product or selling something. But actually doing an event for the paranormal,
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of
We don't have a lot of experience in. No.
But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was. I had a few ideas of what to do. As one thing that I knew I wanted to do that would work, and we started the ball rolling with my idea. I'll go through that in a minute, and the rest of it was just like, basically, we winged it.
We did.
Let's be honest, we did actually wing it,
Yeah.
and it's a terrible
We do
thing
that
to
all the
say.
time,
we
don't
do
we?
because that's how we operate.
Yeah, and it works.
It does work.
Yeah.
So the way it worked out, Penny's got 4 different locations around this base, and we're to stay in one location And the groups of people that are actually on the event get moved around these different locations.
Yeah.
So we'd have group 1, then group 2, then group 3, then group 4. And the first group we had,
Yeah.
we sat them down.
Oops.
And how many of you have been on a paranormal investigation before? How many people put their hands up, Jules?
I know.
Not one. So
Oh, it's the blind leading the blind then.
we're thrown in straight at the deep end with 4 people. Thankfully, the others that were supposed to be there hadn't turned up, or they'd
Yeah.
cried off.
Yeah.
We're with 4 people who've never been on a paranormal investigation
No.
before. Being spoken to by 2 people who have never done a paranormal event before.
Yeah.
And
But it worked.
it worked.
It actually
worked.
And they enjoyed it. The
They did enjoy
feedback
it.
was
We got some very positive
very
feedback,
positive.
which was nice.
So we obviously did something right.
What we basically did, I had a video that I'd made a while back for an investigation we did at Rough and Control Time. I'd used some of the video on our DFM Station 142 video. It basically shows you how an American Air Force guys will go out on a bomb run. So it starts with them sort of planning it and having a briefing while the ground crews are loading up the planes. So what I did, I played this video and I sort of did a running commentary over the top of it in my own style. Which actually wasn't that bad.
It's really good. It's good.
I knew what I was talking about, so I was on safe ground with that. So I thought if I can start with that,
Yeah.
that's going to ease, because I was very, very nervous.
You didn't come across.
I know, but I got myself
really didn't come across.
got myself into such a state beforehand.
You
Jules.
were flapping, as you usually do, flapping about with the wires and this and the projector and that. But once it was up and once it was running, you were off, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
Absolutely fine.
And you engaged everybody. They
Yeah.
were all engaged. And, you know, I mean, I loved that video. Absolutely loved it. And it brings some emotion into it. It makes people feel what happened and what these poor guys went through
Yeah.
during these bomb runs.
It's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give that sort of idea, give you that impression of what it was like.
Yeah.
Because they don't really. You're there at this. You're there at an airbase, and you're looking for ghosts.
Yeah.
But who are these ghosts going to be?
Exactly.
They're going to be these guys. These average age 25-year-old men
Yeah,
that
some
climbed
younger.
into a plane. Yeah, climbed into a plane, went out across to Germany,
Suicide mission.
never came back.
No.
And it was when you were looking at the statistics of what happened to some of the guys that went out to that base.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
When they first started operations out at Tibenham, you had a 1 in 2 chance of coming back.
That's frightening, isn't
It's
it?
just scary numbers, absolutely scary numbers.
It's just, you can't imagine what they must have. I mean, in the video that you showed, you know, it was showing them all, you know, doing the sign of the cross and everything
Yeah.
before they got on the plane. And you're just thinking, oh my gosh, you know, these young men,
Yeah.
they must have been terrified
Yeah.
before, but they still went.
Yeah.
They did it to give us the life and the opportunity that we have now,
Yeah.
you know. And I think we owe it to these men to do, you know, to show the history and to do these kind of, you know, when we did this event there, we were educating people, or you, I should say, because I kind of stood there like a bit of a nana.
Well, no, you didn't, because you came in once I'd finished doing my way, look at
Yeah.
my video bit and done my historical
I
spiel
did,
over the
but
top of it.
you
then came into your own, because you then started to do your bit, like
True.
there's somebody there, I can sense them, I've got a name, and
Yeah.
we work together.
That's true.
We make a brilliant team, you and me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know whether
We're both as crazy as
exactly
each other.
whether listeners you get the same sort of feel, because we can sit and talk rubbish like this for England.
Yep.
You know, but when it comes to the crunch and we run the investigation, we make a very good team. You know, some of the things that you come out of never cease to amaze me, and the amount of support and backing that you give me, even though okay, sometimes you're bossy,
Oh, I'm very bossy. I can
you know,
be.
but then
But you
need
can equally
that.
tell me to shut up.
Yeah, I know. But I need that, Jules. I need that person to say to me, Nigel this, Nigel that, do this, have you done that, have you done this? Because then it sort of knocks it back in my head, and I'm like, oh yeah, I better do that, I better do this, and I need that element of it. But what I love about the way we work is the fact that you do your thing,
Yeah,
and I do my thing, and then we can start to intertwine them.
absolutely.
And I think having both sides of it, people, we're going off tangent here, and this is what happens when we do these sort of chats. People will look at what we do and think, why are you doing that mumbo jumbo side, the psychic side?
Yeah.
Because there's many people out there think that's rubbish.
Yeah.
Okay, then there'll be other people that'll go across the other side and say, why don't you do more of the psychic stuff, because that's far more interesting than the mumbo jumbo rubbish that you're doing with all these bloody whiz bang gadgets to go whizzy wazzy woo. But what I love about us is the fact that we can do both sides of it and throw them together and actually then look at some of the stuff that you come up with and then verify it on the night.
Absolutely.
Or verify it later when I've done the research, because sometimes the instrumentation that we have will do things in conjunction with what you're feeling.
That's very true. And Penny, who organised the event, she actually gave us a notebook, didn't she, on the night? So we documented everything that, you know, I sensed or whatever happened or any noises or anything like that. So, because wasn't Penny going to do some research or
She's
something?
going to do a write-up, I think, of the thing. She's going to research where we can, because we did get names, and she'll research where she can, and she's going to do a full write-up of it as well. So it'll probably
be interesting.
Imagine it'll probably be on a blog at some stage.
So when that information goes live, folks, obviously we will share that with you guys as well.
Yeah, we'll share it across. We don't sort of steal our thunder and tell you about lots of things, but we can tell you some of the bits that happened to us. Once we got the video out of the way, we then proceeded then to get some bits of kit out, didn't we? And as you do, I think the great thing is
we winged it.
Yeah, we were never going to do a Ouija board.
No way.
We were never going to do table tipping. We were never going to do the conventional things that you get on a lot of these organised ghost hunts, because people like that sort of thing.
They do.
There's nothing quite as scary as putting your finger on a planchette or a glass and have it move across the table towards letters. Ooh. People love that sort of thing. Or to be on a table and feeling it move underneath your hands. You know, that is the essence of it. You know, people love it. It's showmanship at its best.
Yes.
We did our own brand of showmanship with some of the kit that we've got. So we had meters out, we had REM pod out, we had trigger alarms off, we had good old flashy K2, and we had our brand new weapon.
Our brand new toy.
We love this. Kieran O'Keefe, I'm blaming you for this.
Yeah, Kieran, it's all your fault.
What have you had recently, Jules? Have you had your birthday recently?
I had a birthday.
Now, lovely ladies, what do you think lovely ladies would like to get for their birthday?
Now, did Juliette ask for makeup? No. Did Juliette ask for perfume?
No.
No. Did Juliette ask for lots and lots of jewellery?
No.
No. What did Juliette ask for?
She asked for a forward-looking infrared camera.
I did. And do you know what? I got one.
So we now...
My parents got me one for my birthday, and I was absolutely thrilled.
It's brilliant.
New
Absolutely brilliant.
New toy.
Kieran O'Keefe said to us, and we're calling back on him again in the last podcast because it is relative to what we're talking about now. He said, if you're going to get one bit of kit, get yourself a FLIR, a forward-looking infrared, and we did.
Wow.
And on the night, it proved its worth, didn't it? Because it was fascinating.
It really was. And what I loved about it as well is if you think you feel a cold spot or a hot spot, you can actually really verify it. And we got some really interesting results, didn't we?
We had a couple of people who were sitting there and said it was getting very cold around us, didn't they? So immediately out comes the FLIR. Great, let's have a look at it. And you could actually see it. They were like warm and their legs were green where it was colder.
Yeah.
And I said to the girl, where is the draft? And she said, well, it's around my legs at the moment. And I'm like, no, look at that. You can see it.
I love it as well when things like that can get verified. Scientifically, then you've got evidence that, okay, so what you're saying is true. There is a temperature change.
Yeah.
But then obviously you have to think, okay, what's causing that? Is it a draft?
Yeah.
Because we had some windows open because it was a hot night.
It was a hot night. We had the windows open.
Didn't we? And the temperature was like... So you then start looking at the reasons behind it and why and what could... Or could it be paranormal? Once you've, gone through every single reason as to what could be causing that draft, and you get to a point where there's no reason causing the draft, then you have to look at what it could be. Yeah. But it was interesting.
It was so good to actually see something that new to us come into action straight away like that. And the other thing I loved about it was when we were saying there was something by the door.
I was just going to say that.
All night long, there was something by the door. We'd got this...
I picked that up, didn't I? And
Yeah.
yeah, go on.
William,
Yes.
you got a sense that this person was at the door.
Yes.
And he didn't want to come any further than that door.
I don't think he could.
No.
That's
Something was stopping
the impression
him.
I was
Yeah.
getting.
We were in the clubhouse. We were actually at the end of the clubhouse in the briefing room. Mm-hmm. The clubhouse itself was built on top of one of the sites of the original T2 hangars at the base. So underneath that clubhouse was all the original concrete. Oh, excuse me, it was all still there. Mm. So we were wondering whether or not he was actually perhaps a crew chief or a crewman or an aeroplane crew guy who wasn't allowed in the hangars.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been hanging out in there when the guys were actually the ground crew were trying to
possibly.
fix it.
I hadn't thought of that.
Other people were saying, is he a child? Would there be children on the
No,
bases?
he
And
was
we're
a
like,
man.
definitely not a child,
No,
because
no,
the reason
no.
why we don't know he's a child is because once again Mr. Fleer comes into action. You could bloody well see the outline of that figure standing in the doorway.
You could, couldn't you?
Yeah.
That was really interesting.
You could see his head and his shoulders, and he was man height.
Yeah.
Got occasional flashes on him. He would be there,
Yeah.
and then he would sort of fade out, and then he would be there.
Yeah, that
And
was
it was
interesting.
really odd to see that. Really odd.
I found that really fascinating because then when I sense things, people can look at me and think, oh yeah, she's just talking out of her backside, And
Yeah.
believe you me, folks, it's big enough.
I'm not saying anything about it.
But, at the end of the day, people can think that. But when you start having the evidence and you have the tech and the equipment to say, actually, this is backing up because look at this. There is something there. There is
Yeah.
a shape there. There is evidence, and that temperature is different, and it's showing on that camera.
Yeah.
What is that?
And we had
And we've got recordings.
we had the Trifield EM meter down that end as
Yeah.
well that ticked all night long.
And the K2.
K2 was set off down there as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was really interesting.
And
now,
the K2 was flashing on response as well, which was
it
interesting.
was later on the last session of the night was the most fascinating.
Oh,
one,
when
wasn't it?
we
Really interesting.
played Hitler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'd
that
gone
went
armed. We'd gone
nuts.
armed on the night with things that we thought might set them off.
Yeah.
So we'd got Glenn Miller.
Yeah.
It didn't really do anything. No. It did.
You've got ticks. You've got
Yeah, it
occasional
ticks a little
things.
bit, and then someone said to you, you should dance. So, yeah, I'm like, okay. That ain't gonna happen, matey. We had the Andrews sisters. We were playing various bits and pieces, but then I got the sound of a B-24 bomber, which were based at this site, starting its engines up and taxiing down the runway.
We got some response with that, didn't we?
When that first started up, the K2 started responding to that, didn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So we kept that going, and in the last session of the night, we were just sort of generally doing some bits and pieces, because the very last thing in this event was you got to choose where you'd like to go back to.
What, the paying customers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we seriously thought we wouldn't get anybody come
we
to
thought
us.
we were so crap.
We thought we were so bad that no one would
Nobody
want to come
wants-
to us.
Yeah.
So we were like all set. We walked back up to the cafeteria bit, and we were all
Yeah.
set. And then Penny
Ready
said
to
us,
go home.
Ready to go home. Thought we'll just go wait and see one. And then no one comes, and so we'll go and pack our kit up, ready
We
to
were
go.
so tired, weren't
were
we?
knackered.
I mean, what time was it? It was about, 2 in the morning, wasn't it?
This was about 1:30, wasn't
Half
it?
past
When we got
one?
to this stage.
Yeah, it was.
And
yeah.
so we're thinking, oh, no one's going to want to come down to see us. And then Penny's got on, like, okay, who wants to go down to the briefing room? Go with Nigel and Juliet. And people started walking towards
It
us.
was,
didn't
it was
they?
just really bizarre. There was just like, yeah, and we were very surprised. Quite a few people.
Yeah, well, like, really? You want to come back down with us?
Yeah, right.
Because we honestly thought we hadn't been that good.
Nuts.
And
lovely,
as it
though.
turns
It was
out, they've
lovely.
really enjoyed what we were doing.
Yeah. And we had some investigators, didn't we?
We did, yes. Some other people that
Which is
actually been on
nice.
investigations before. Other people that hadn't, but they liked the fact that we'd had things happen, but we'd made it inclusive.
Yeah.
Because we'd thrown everybody into it and saying, here's some kit, have a go with this, look at that, this is doing this. Because we'd made it inclusive, people were interested in coming back and seeing what else we were doing. So
Yeah.
it had been quiet. The session before that had been very quiet, hadn't it?
Yeah, it really had.
And we're like, oh God,
Oh, it was
it's
awkward.
died right off.
Well, it was awkward. I'm not going to make anything up. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. It's the way it is. But you kind of feel this guilt because you have people in a room that have paid a substantial amount of money
Yeah.
for a paranormal investigation. I'm tuning in and there's Naffle there, and I'm just like, oh God, what are we
What are we
going to
gonna
do? And we had the kit all on, and it was all flat, and I was just praying for it to finish. I was just thinking, oh God. And I just kept saying, I'm sorry, folks. I mean, there's ticks as the odd thing, but really, all I'm really getting is residual.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to make it up. And I think this is the problem. This is a big problem, with TV, with paid events and things like that. You're entertaining people.
Yeah.
You want people to have a good night. But, you can't make things up.
No.
You have to be honest. And folks, if you're going to do these things and you're going to pay for your ticket and go, sometimes you'll get lucky. Sometimes there'll be paranormal phenomena and you'll hear bangs or clicks or whatever. But be prepared. There might not be anything at all. That is the harsh reality of this.
It was, yeah. I mean, we didn't have a huge amount happening, but we had lots of little bits.
We had bits.
Yeah, and it was quite nice because we had, throughout the evening, we had little bits that we could play on and build on.
But it could well be, I mean, towards the end of the night, I was tired.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really, really tired. I wanted my bed.
Yeah.
I was knackered.
I'm 100% with you there.
You were knackered.
Yeah.
And it could be that perhaps because I was so tired, I wasn't tuning in, whatever, as much as I could do. That's a possibility. But in our location, I mean, I would personally say, it was a fascinating place. Very interesting, but a lot of it, in my opinion, was residual.
Yeah,
a lot
just
of
very,
it.
very quiet, wasn't it?
But other things happened in other locations
other
that
people
were
had
more
other things,
interesting
so
on
they're-
that airbase.
Yeah.
But where we were stationed, I would possibly say it's residual.
Until the last bit of the night.
Yes, indeed.
So we're in the last session, and we're doing the usual thing. And
We were getting desperate.
we were.
Naffle was happening, and we had
Well,
paying
no, we
customers.
didn't. We had the. They all came down, and we're
Yeah.
thinking, oh God.
Yeah. Oh, help.
We moved some kit around, and we had some kit near us this time, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I put the REM pod on the table in the middle that had done nothing all night long. Mm-hmm. I'd left the EM at the other end because it was ticking away quite merrily.
We
up
had
there.
trigger objects set up, didn't we, as well?
We did, yeah.
Money.
And then you
money.
just stuck your K2 in the middle of the desk and left
That's
it
right.
there.
Yeah.
And you could just see its full-on little green light shining there, couldn't
Yeah,
you?
right.
And then everybody sat down. This last session of all these people that picked us to
Yeah.
come back to, and we're thinking,
Oh,
oh God, the last session was dead as a bloody doornail. What are we going to do here?
Yeah, absolutely.
So thankfully they were quite enthusiastic, weren't they, the last lot, so which made it a lot easier for us.
It's lovely because they were giving ideas as well, and we were trying different things. weren't we?
Chatting, trying
Yeah.
to get things going.
Yeah.
And we'd put Glenn on again, hadn't we? Had our little
Yeah.
musical bit.
Naffle happened.
And then you said, put them aeroplanes on, because I'm sure when we had the aeroplanes on earlier on, the K2
Yes.
flashed. So I said, okay. We stuck the planes on, and K2,
Yeah.
whip starts flashing. The other thing is as well, I hadn't noticed it because I wasn't paying attention at the time, but the REM pod had gone off as well.
Just explain for the listeners that don't know what these devices do.
Right,
Very
sorry,
quickly.
okay, right.
Summarise.
K2 is an EMF meter that reacts to changes in the electromagnetic field around it. Okay, so what it does, it flashes lights. So the theory being that spirit can manipulate electromagnetic fields to actually get them to do things, or they can interfere
Yeah.
by coming nearer with electromagnetic field because they're essentially electromagnetic energy themselves.
That's right. Yeah.
The REM pod it emits its own electrical field, and if anything disturbs that field, it sets off an alarm. So it's got a radio aerial that sticks up, and it's got this constant electrical field around it. But if anything moves nearer to it, it just sets off an alarm, and it goes bleep bleep bleep, makes a noise,
Yeah,
flashes some
squeaks.
lights, squeaks, like
Yeah.
Sweep from the City in the Sweep Show.
Yeah.
So we've got that on the desk. We've got the K2 further down. And it was making little squeaks, and one light was coming on, but I couldn't hear it because it was so quiet. But then it was the two girls opposite kept saying to me, "Your REM pod's gone off. Your REM pod." I was like, "Has it? What? I missed it. Look, the K2's flashing." And well, then who's got the phone? Have you got your phone on? Is it your phone? Is it what's going on? Wasn't the phone's.
Nope.
So he kept doing it. And he kept rushing, and then it went quiet. And then somebody, not a million miles away, came up with the bright idea of actually playing Charlie Chaplin's speech from The Great Dictator, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which was quite interesting. And that, weirdly, set the K2 off again.
It started, didn't it?
Started again, didn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Which was the most surreal thing. So, oh, okay, you're like Charlie Chaplin.
Let's
And
go
then you
on
were,
further.
well, you were fiddling with it, trying to find some
Yeah.
speaking, but war stuff, weren't you? So if I
That's
could find
right.
some war stuff,
Yeah.
and you actually came across a German-speaking podcast that was talking about Stalingrad that actually had Hitler
That's
doing a
right.
speech,
Yep.
and we had this thing on, and that K2 went mental,
Went nuts, didn't
absolutely
it? Wasn't happy.
mental.
Was not happy with that at all.
And it wasn't the phone because they were too far away for it to be the phone, too far away for it to be the computer, because that was in the middle of the table, a good 6 foot away,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
So it's out of the range of the K2, and it was just flashing like nuts
It's
because
very
of that
interesting.
German.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to summarise, Nige.
Where am I going to go with this? I don't know. How can I summarise it? Would I do it again? I probably would help with a charity event again,
Yeah.
but I don't think I would ever run a paranormal event myself.
No, I would agree with that.
It was
to be
honestly to
honest.
see the amount of work that Penny put into it, how
It's
hard
very
it was
stressful.
to organise it. The
Yeah.
fact that you then got to get people to go because people were dropping out on the night as
Well,
well.
it was so hot.
It was hot. It was
People were
difficult.
poorly. People were hot. You know, we've had ridiculous temperatures recently,
Yeah,
haven't we?
yeah.
That we've never seen before. You know, so that would put people off.
And we finally finished at about 2:15 in the morning.
And what time did you get to bed,
I
Mister?
got home at 20 to 4.
And you were not popular with
I was
Mrs. H, were you?
Not at all, because the next day I was like a zombie.
Yeah, you were in trouble.
I actually had to go. I actually went on the Sunday morning. I went swimming, and that just about finished me off. I came back from that, and I'd had my lunch, and I said to Maria, wife, or something, I'm sorry, I've got to go to bed, and I just had to go to sleep. I was completely done in.
Yeah, I can
Completely
imagine
done
Maria's
in.
reaction to that.
So yeah, much as I like to think I'm the intrepid paranormal investigator, I'm really
Yeah.
actually am a very old man who needs his sleep.
I'm the same. I need my sleep too.
We were
I was like a zombie.
exhausted, weren't we? Absolutely
It
exhausted.
took me probably 2 days to get over that. You know, I was so
Yeah.
tired after that. So tired.
So I think the best advice we can give you on this occasion would be to, if you'd like to go on an organised ghost hunt,
Do it.
go on an organised ghost
Just don't
hunt.
do one yourself.
But if you want to set one up and do it, don't do it, because honestly, it's too much like hard work.
Yeah.
But we really thoroughly enjoyed both of the
And
experiences.
it was nice because the charity got some money out of it as well, which
They
was
did,
super.
yeah. And they were
know.
saying about, oh, when can we do? We can do this a few times a year. And I'm thinking, no.
Oh, do you know? Yeah. I mean, it's the thing with this, you don't want to sort of kick the heck out of it.
Exactly,
you
yeah.
know.
It's very easy to do that because the thing about this base was it's never been investigated.
Yeah.
Not like this. I've never had an event there, so this is the first time they had one of these events, and for it to go well was great.
Absolutely.
But I can safely say that nope, running public events is not my forte.
You and me both.
Exactly. We will stick with doing what we do the best, you know, which is actually going out and doing our own thing.
Going out, investigating, muffing up with a kit and all the rest of it.
Exactly, in our own
That's us.
shambolic fashion, but they're still getting the results that we do, and
That's
then
it.
sharing it all with everybody, because that's what we really love doing.
We do, indeed.
You know, and I have looked at another couple of airfields. We're going to reboot the project because it is such a good project, and I've got a couple of really good bases.
Have you?
Yeah, with some really good stories attached to them as
Have
well,
you?
which is what we want to be doing.
Okay.
Sharing the tales, seeing what's there.
I'm
seeing
looking
if
forward to
there's
this,
anything left.
folks.
Yeah.
Ooh, be interesting.
So until next time, when I don't know what we're going to do next time, we could have another guest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have actually got some pretty good ones lined up.
We have
could
indeed.
sneak in.
But don't give it away now.
I'm not going to give it away.
Save
Give
it
it
for
away
another
now.
day.
I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to say another word, which
Yeah.
will just surprise you once again by appearing once again on our shiny, lovely podcast, sharing tales with you all. So, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to us, and don't forget, if you love what we do, please leave us a comment or give us some stars or do whatever you want to do.
Oh, please do.
Don't forget, if you have a podcast provider, you can follow our channel. And not only do we appear on here, but you can also go and watch us in glorious Technicolor on our YouTube channel as well.
And what is our website?
Our website is www.outtheregroup.net. And you can find all these things on there. You can also find us right there across social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter,
We're
on
everywhere.
Insta.
You can't escape us.
We are everywhere.
We are. And we've got some stuff on Spotify, haven't we, as well?
We have indeed. You can get our podcast on Spotify. You can get
Indeed.
us podcasts on Apple Podcasts. It's everywhere.
We're all over the place, aren't
There's
we?
no escape, folks.
Out there is everywhere.
Out there are out there.
Indeed.
Indeed. And now we're going to leave you all to it. Time for us to say goodbye until next time. So it's a good night from me.
And a good night from him.
See you soon. Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye-bye.